Let's talk about it. So, in Bad Boys 4, we know Captain Howard has left us. He was taken from us. All of a sudden, here comes these revelations that he was in bed with the cartels, because the cartels don't have names. They're just the cartels. He's been in bed with them, taking money from them since 2004. And Mike and Marcus are like, oh, hell no. We know him better than that. Where is this coming from? We need to get to the bottom of it. I had a feel. First of all, when I saw the runtime for the movie, I knew it was going to be good. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I knew, like, partly because they didn't have a lot of time, I knew they were going to be on their A game. I was not aware when the trailer came out that I was supposed to be afraid, of the box office numbers, because one time Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. That slap wasn't even part of my subconscious, let alone my conscious. But moving on, what I was worried about when the trailer came out was Mike and Marcus's dynamic. Tell me if you have noticed it too, but I was worried that their dynamic was going to be stale, specifically because as of Bad Boys 3, there is a certain decline in the way Marcus's character is written. It's akin to the airheaded character on comedies, sitcoms, becoming dumber as the season goes on, to the point you wonder, how are they alive? The problem here is that Marcus was never dumb, ever. He was silly, but no less silly than Mike's character. But as of Bad Boys 4, he's just so, like, over the top with, the yelling during the car chase scenes. Like, it just gives, like, this is my first time partnering with Marcus. This is my first time partnering with Mike. I'm still in my probationary period. As of 3 and 4, you should be used to this man's shenanigans by now. On the other hand, it does help sell that Marcus is ready for retirement and to get out of this damn game. But on the other hand, like, you have stuff like in this movie where he's in the middle of a gunfight and he's trying to eat a Skittle. Or, same gunfight, and he's trying to drink, it's not Kool-Aid, but drink some red drink. Like, his whole thing was like he almost died, so now he thinks he's invincible. He's saying all this stuff to Mike about, like, in the past life you were a donkey, you were an ass, and all that stuff. But the most ridiculous thing is that he tries to talk a gator out of biting him. And then, of course, the gator bites his ass and tries to take his arm off. And I'm just like, overall it's fine. The dynamic, I think Will and Martin were at the top of their bad boy game. Movie-wise, the best one is number 2. But, I feel like they were at the top of their bad boy game. The dynamic was fine. It was good. Heartwarming moments and all that jazz. But because of the way Marcus's character is written, I am worried about if they do a 5, 6, 7. If it was up to me, they're like, I'll tell you, it's up to you. We have the budget. We just need your word. Should we do a 5th one? I'd be like, no, I believe we're good. But I'll talk more about that after. Moment of silence for the fact that they recasted Teresa. Where was Teresa? That was so jarring. When I saw Tasha Smith, I was like, who is this? I want to say they could have said that Teresa's on vacation, but, I love seeing Marcus's whole family. I never really quite got used to it, but fine. I loved that we got to see Mike deal with issues this time. He had PTSD from what happened to Captain Howard, so much so that he shot the bed twice during critical moments of, a mission, a sting, an operation, whatever. And again, it's very sad that Marcus, on the other hand, didn't really have a growth moment in this movie or the last one. For the last 2 movies, like, Marcus has had he had stuff happening with his family, but no personal, like, character growth moments. But Mike had some good stuff in this one, because after Captain Howard was taken out, he immediately, switched to angry mode and revenge mode for what happened to, Captain Howard, but also, like, what happened to him. We also had loyalty. I love the loyalty we saw in this movie, loyalty to Captain Howard. Also, Captain Howard's loyalty to Mike and Marcus, because that's what ultimately saved Armando's fine ass. Because Judy Howard, I really was worried that she was going to get Armando out of here. Especially once I realized what him leaving with Callie meant when Judy was on the way. To me, the reason why Judy did not shoot Armando Because I was like, please don't do this to Mike. Please don't do this to Mike. But I wasn't sure because they took Captain Howard. They might have taken Armando. To me, Judy remembered that her father trusted Marcus and trusted Marcus's judgment. That's why Callie was like, no, I'm not going for this. Like, there's no way that Mike and Marcus are in on, like trying to help killers and all that stuff. Hell no. Judy needed a moment. And let me just say that the whole asking character A to not kill character B, even though character B killed their parent or their loved one or whatever, is so sick. It is so unfair. It brings the tension every single time. But what a shitty thing to ask somebody, please let them live because I care about them. Steve Rogers. We got a little bit of redemption, with Armando. I don't even know if we should call it redemption because Armando has done so much. With this, he folded in, trying to help them figure out, the situation and stuff like that. I did wonder if Rita was going to be, the person who's in on it. I had questions, but literally the way I figured out it was Lockwood was I took a closer look at him and I was like, oh, he's a little bit orange, just like McGrath. So it's him. But Armando did a little bit of penance, and we knew at the end of the third movie that he helped the police with a case to try to get time off of his sentence. Now he's just given up on that because now he's just on the run. Now, who had the best sequence in the movie and why was it Reggie? That scene was so fun. It was so good that after it was over and he saluted, to Marcus, my theater clapped, including me. Like, I was so happy. It was so fun to watch. The way they did it was so creative with like going into the TV screen, the commentary from the characters as they were watching. I was like, Reggie, you better go ahead and protect the family. I loved it. And I love the end when Mike and Marcus, they're arguing over the barbecue and Marcus says, being at the barbecue has to be earned. And in the end, it's Reggie, standing over the barbecue and he smiles at the audience. And I love it because, yes, he earned this. And not just because of what he did in this movie and the way he stepped up, but thinking back to how we met Reggie, that tall ass, 15-year-old being harassed by these grown men, to remember him as that and see him come to this U.S. Marine Reggie taking down dudes in the house, it was just so satisfying. Yes, he earned he earned being the one to end the movie. I loved it. Now, I will say the video game POV thing did get out of hand a little bit during that scene that Will Smith actually previewed on his Instagram. Just because I didn't like the whole, like, when the camera swings back to him, it's like it shook a little bit. That was a little bit too much for me. To me, it just didn't fit really with what I was watching. My one other gripe, other than them recasting Teresa, is do y'all know that there are Haitians in Miami as well? Parce que l'en nous besoin Mam Gang, l'en nous besoin Vagabond Sale. Y'all remember that there were Haitians in Miami, and we ain't seen a Haitian since. Meanwhile, we got the Latinos, yes, they're bad guys, but they're also on the police force. They're all over the soundtrack. Good for them. But I'm like, where are the Haitians? I give it a 3.5. Very enjoyable, but not necessarily like, wow, like the strongest story we've seen in the franchise. And speaking of the franchise, how do I feel about Bad Boys 5? I would say we're good. We are good. We ended it on a high note. I've seen people say that Armando can carry it forward. And when I think about that, I get I get protective. Because I'm like, the Bad Boys franchise is a very successful franchise led by two black men. And I just feel if we put Armando at the forefront, think about it. With Marcus and Mike gone, with Marcus gone, his family's gone, there goes all the black people in the movie. And I know that you give Hollywood an inch, they're going to take a mile. I just feel like if we put Armando at the forefront, we're not going to see black people again. We're not. Someone said, I've seen people say Armando and Reggie. Armando's fine ass. Like, he can stay, let him stay where he is. The only thing I want him to lead is missions, not the franchise. Reggie, we have all seen Reggie's personality. So if we were to continue the franchise with him, he would need a very, like, charismatic partner. If they do make a Bad Boys 5, yes, I will be there front and center, ready to enjoy myself. But they don't have to. I don't need them to. I'm cool with like ending it here.